Hello students, welcome to week 3. I'm going to point out the key assignments for this week and talk a little bit about each of them. Let's start with looking here that you're going to be taking your first real reading quiz this week, and I'm going to open the instructions. So this is very much like your practice reading quiz. Multiple choice questions. There'll be 20 questions, but the key difference is that this reading quiz is going to be about, I'm just going to shift this over, pages 25 through 28 in 4-point. You're going to have 60 minutes to reread your annotations. If you have done your weekly reading assignment, you should have already annotated it. So you should have your books open and your annotations, and then you should do very well on the quiz if you've done a good job on your annotations. Okay, that's the main thing I want you to know. These quizzes are hard. As you know, the readings are hard, so the more work that you put into that reading and annotating, the better you will do on this quiz. You do have a couple, it shouldn't be multiple. I think you have 2 attempts, not multiple. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back into the module. So that's really important. So when you look at your week 3 reading assignments, you will see that I tell you to read those pages. And also, even if you don't have the book, that first chapter is in this little link here. You might have to click around to find the right pages because, as I mentioned before, I scan them a little bit out of order. But the second reading, which is called The Importance of Right Purpose, is in here if you need it, okay? We also have our first vocabulary quiz. So there's a 3-point practice vocabulary quiz which explains to you how they work. It's not just going to be, one word. There'll be some matching. I might make it a little more challenging for you by using a different form of the words that you learned. But the vocabulary quizzes are going to be based on the 2 vocabulary power units in your 4-point book. Okay, so in the first unit that we've been reading in marketing, there's a vocabulary power on page 7, and there's a vocabulary power on page, I believe it's 24. I haven't got this memorized. Yes, 24. And that's what your vocabulary quizzes are going to be about. Now, if you haven't noticed, I put the keys to those vocabulary power exercises here so you can self-check. Okay, now going back here, what else is new? I'm not going to say much about writing test 1 right now because I'll be making another video for everybody on summary writing, how to write a summary, because that will be step 2. Today, in the beginning of week 3, you should have already submitted your annotations on the article Shyness. But at the end of the week, you have on Thursday of this week, which is going to be October 8. I'm sorry, I was looking at my calendar. You submit a draft of your first summary. So I'm going to put a video in the at a glance section, which will explain how to write a summary. And I will actually then, I will also try to put it in the writing test 1 link so that you can find it in 2 different places. Okay, so the rest of this, I think you understand what we're working on. If you didn't read my email on the grammar assignments, I'm putting an introductory video each week to give you some background on the chapter and some of the the rules. That can be helpful for students who learn better from listening and looking at an example than just reading the chapter. Okay. The rest, I think by now you guys should be getting used to. We have our weekly discussion on marketing, part 2, okay, and we've got our second Absolutely True Diary discussion. You guys have been doing a beautiful job on this, by the way. And finally, you've got your open discussion. And I'd like to just end by saying something about that, that your regular discussions on the novel and related to 4 Point tend to be more formal and academic. I'm asking for your thoughts, your college level thoughts on the readings and the subjects. But the open discussions, and again, I'm very deeply moved by what you have been doing on these. People are really sharing pieces of their life, they're building community, and in an online environment, we really need that as much as possible. So thank you for your participation in that each week, if you have the time and want the extra point. Okay, now here again, in case you're wondering, I am basically showing you the answer key for your Grammar for Writing 1 chapter by Sunday. And then here's some extra practice on subject-verb agreement, which is the focus of our grammar chapter this week. Okay, all right, thanks. Talk to you soon.